much for joining us here today. You haven't had a chance to meet me yet. My name is Ben. The wonderful Rebecca joining me in a moment's time. A beautiful pair of dogs in the front of the van, and my eagles and vultures sat eagerly awaiting some breakfast in the back. Before we get started, free flying large birds are down an area where you guys are all stood. I like to run, if we can, through a bit of health and safety. Nothing too serious, just a bit of information so you know what to expect and maybe what to do if things don't go quite according to plan. It can get a bit interesting some days at events like this. First and most importantly, it must be only myself and Rebecca in the arena throughout the flying display. It's not one for you wiggly giggly kids or your furry four-legged friends. On that note, I did have a dog join me in this show last year while he ran into my arms. Definitely not the person to join in with. If you're eating today, we expect food a big part of any event like this, but be sensible with your food. Don't stand waving your bacon sandwich in the air while a hungry vulture circles overhead. I see husband and wife do this regular. It's always the husband. Get me another one of these, one of them, they're good, one of them. I think you're going to need it if you keep waving it about, lad. And last of all, we've been here a few times now, about our 450 year on the bounce, which is a real privilege to come back. You know, you're doing something half decent. But the birds have no idea where they are. Every single time we come into the arena, the wind is slightly different, the weather is slightly different, and everything can get a bit exciting. So what I'm getting around to is this. If at any one point today while flying, an eagle or a vulture looks like it's going to crash into you, it probably is. Get out of the way, alright? You've got to work with me a little bit, guys. We'll have a fantastic bit of fun. I begin all my displays with the bird in the top middle box. You'll see that he wears an L plate on the box. This is because last year he did do a 7-day solo tour of the Somerset area. He was not supposed to do that 7-day solo tour. His name is Arthur, and Arthur is a Tanzanian white-headed vulture, a massive creature, a wingspan just over 6 feet, carrying 11 pounds of body weight. 11 pounds is the weight of a fat baby. This is a massive bird. We'll get him out, back in, as he lands on my hand. Give him a lovely round of applause to get him in a good mood today. He's huge, him, you know. I begin my displays because he sort of sets the scene quite nice. You'll get an idea what the rest of them are going to do in a moment's time, and he is very well behaved. Red list endangered species. In a nutshell, that means in a few short years, unless something pretty drastic happens, we're going to lose this bird for good in the wilds of Africa. And we'll talk in a moment's time more about what's been done throughout the world to help vultures and birds in need like this. As he makes his way in now from behind the sheep show, keep your eyes peeled. Look at that for a bit of a start today. Good old boy, well done. Give him a nice round of applause. He's in a good mood this morning. We get asked heaps of questions at the stand, as you can imagine. My favourite one is, how on earth did a scruffy kid like you end up with a bird like this living in the middle of North Yorkshire? As you can tell, I'm not from these parts with an accent like I've got. Well, the story is quite unusual. You see, he was originally a wild taken bird, brought into captivity to go into a breeding project. Fantastic thing, but unfortunately it never worked out. It never worked out for a very simple and unusual reason. Arthur here doesn't like girls. Somewhat tricky to explain to an audience, I'm sure you'll appreciate. I would skirt on a subject and talk about the wonderful work conservation groups and falconry projects worldwide over species such as this. But now and again while doing displays, you'll be heckled from the crowd. And a lady shouted out to me, "How do you know he doesn't like girls?" I was there at the start, madam, I was involved in the project. But how do you know? I want to know. I thought, you're not going to shut up. I'll tell you. I know Arthur here doesn't like female vultures because he unfortunately ate the first one. 18 months later tried to eat the second, and 3 years later tried to eat the third. If you're eating your breeding partner, madam, it is no longer a conservation project. So instead, this is his job. He's a one-bird PR team from myself and Rebecca of doing what we've got at home. We have a beautiful little farm at the top of North Yorkshire, a small selection of weird and wonderful birds from all around the world. The idea being that we breed a few, sell a few, the money goes back into the projects abroad, and eventually one day we can hopefully send 1 or 2 youngsters out there as well. It's a tricky old thing, you know. It's not quite right in certain parts of the world for these birds at the moment, and they need a huge amount of space and a lot of peace and quiet until we get that balance. I think we need the birds in captivity to get them back on track. Ready when you are, mate. You need to crack on with it today. It's a busy old morning. We'll try and show you much we possibly can in about the 35 minutes that we've got here today. The wind is it's there. It's not brilliant, but there's a little glimmer of breeze, and that gives me a direction to work towards. Well done, sir, for keeping your nerve there. As he goes now out across the fair, we'll swing him back over his left shoulder in a moment's time, bring him back into the arena, and land him just down on the ground in front of me. When you bring a vulture this size in and land him on the floor, things start to somewhat change. You see, the floor is a dangerous place to be in the wilds of Africa. Large cat, wild dog and many other creatures attack and eat a vulture, even one of this size. So when you're down on ground level, you have to look the business. This is Arthur's I'm as hard as nails walk. Don't mess with me, I'll eat your grandma's Westie. Look at the size of him. Makes himself enormous, you know? Head back and chest forward, he walks around like a 15-year-old boy. Beautiful pink cheeks and blue and orange on the beak, that's the business end with a vulture. They are primarily a carrion-feeding creature. What they're eating has already died or been killed by something else, but that type of vulture is quite special. For on hard occasions, they will even hunt food for themselves. Come on up, sunshine. So he's a really, really special kind of a bird. We'll give him one more go. We've got a lot to try and get crammed in. A little bit of breeze, he's just coming through perfect. You do occasionally get a bit of thermal in this part of the world. That's the warm air rising. If we can get one to click into that today, that'd be brilliant to see. But we'll try and turn him that way around and see what he wants to do. Some ones I give a bit of encouragement to, and some I just tend to leave well alone. With him, I'll leave him well alone. He knows how to do this better than me, so he'll make better decisions than I can ever encourage him to do. So for your last one this morning, young man, give it a bit of welly. Let's see what we can get from you. You can see him looking left to right and try to plan his flight. He's got to get it right this time. He's a big old chunky thing and he cannot risk landing out of the arena. He must be able to get back in at all times. So we'll maybe turn and use that direction. It's a bit safer. Good boy. As he goes out now, guys, I'll prepare myself here. Well done for ducking, sir. Don't take your chances on this show. We'll swing him back in that corner there and bring him in if we can into the side of the sheep show between my marquee and that. We're going to go straight over. We're going to go straight over. Oh, we are coming through the gap. Right, duck, guys. Well done. Let's land him just here to a wonderful round of applause. What a cracking start today, good boy. Myself and Rebecca will fly the next one together. We fly the next one together for one simple reason. He does quite like you to hold his hand throughout the flying display. Not everything that I've got in the back of this van here are super confident display birds. One or two of them now and again do get a bit concerned when we bring them to busy old events like this, so the two of us can make life a touch easier. We're going to have a look at an eagle all the way from America. We call this bird a bald eagle. He was originally captive bred on the outskirts of London and sold to a guy in Lincolnshire. The guy in Lincolnshire bought him because he liked all things American. If you like all things American, guys, wear a t-shirt with a flag on it and listen to country and western music. Don't buy a bald eagle as a pet. That's like saying, I like Australia, I'm going to have a pet crocodile in the garden, you know? He kept him about 5 years in a beautiful purpose-built enclosure, but never flew him for fear of losing him. Now I sort of get that, but it's a bit like owning a sports car and never driving it for fear of crashing it. What an absolute waste. So after about 5 years he decided he would sell him. We went for a look. I liked the eagle straight away. He was beautiful condition. Took him back home and began to train him, and quickly worked out he was pretty rubbish when it come to flying. He'd never been flown for 5 years. He didn't know how to use or embrace the breeze, to turn corners, get back in from behind trees, and that led to another problem. This one quite exciting. If at any one point throughout the flying display this bald eagle loses sight of me or Rebecca, he will simply land and wait for you to come and get him. That white-headed vulture went behind that trailer 3 times in that show. Came back every time. He thinks on his feet. This does not. Imagine being the guy in charge of the American bald eagle, 10 pound in weight with a 6-foot wingspan, that's just landed in D Avenue. You can't, can you? And I walk round on an evening time with my dogs and have a look at shows, and I see things on marquees that concern me. National Chihuahua AGM 10, strokeaguineapig.com, or other similarly horrendous things as mentioned. You don't need my eagle joining in, that's for sure, you know, and it's not good for him either. So when we're in a small arena, it's alright, is this? It's a little bit of flying done well. In big arenas, it looks spectacular, and with a breeze on his back, he's brilliant to see fly towards you, banks up and lands beautiful. Today, this is a little bit of fun. None of this is really exercise, it's more just to get them out and give you guys a look at them. The run up to an event like this, where we're on the road for 5 or 6 days, we work these birds like crazy. That means the event becomes a nice, easy time for them. Chance to get a bit of a breather and a relax and plenty of good grub and a day or two of easy rest. Now the importance of breeding birds in captivity has never been so much as it has today. But why bald eagles? The world has got loads of them. In fact, America's got more now than it ever has done. We've got a bald eagle here in front of us, and back at home we have his girlfriend. The idea is to put these two together, not to produce vast amounts of bald eagle in captivity. We don't need that. I'd like a youngster to fly in displays. That'd be fantastic to work a homebred eagle. We have 1 or 2 at home now coming into the show next year, exactly that way. But I want to use the pair of bald eagles for a different reason. See, we have crowned eagles at home, white-headed vultures and caracaras and really weird and wonderful birds around the world. But they aren't particularly good when it comes to being mum and dad. So we're going to sneak the eggs, move the chicks around, and if we can do, use our pair of bald eagles, a bit like a surrogate mum and dad, to rear the more trickier birds we have at home that aren't too good at it. We'll switch the eggs on an evening time, and with a bit of luck in the morning, they wake up with an ugly baby and love it just the same. That's the plan anyway. We'll give it a go and see what happens, eh? As he's working backwards and forwards now, guys, you see he's good. I don't really shout or call anything. I work in arenas where there's loads of noise and background stuff going on all the time. I like him to think on his feet. You can see him now and again looking over his shoulder and watching things in the audience. He sees big dogs and like them too much. He sees lots of wiggly, giggly kids, that sort of thing. But he is pretty much switched on, and he watches all the time. As I was leaving the guy's house in Lincolnshire, before I pulled out the yard, I stopped the van and said to him, "What do you call your bald eagle?" It's always good practice to keep an animal's name when it changes owner. He said, "I call him Conan, after the famous barbarian." I changed his name to Barry. He's just more of a Barry than he is a barbarian, but what a wonderful little bird, and he's done very well today. Give him one more round of applause, ladies and gents. We've got such a lot to try and cram into about 30 minutes, it can be quite tricky, so I'll try and rattle through as many as possible for you. We will fly everything that we've got here today, even the young falcons that we're training get exercise on an evening time. I try and make the most of it. The side door of the van here has the smallest and most unusual member of the gang, the beautiful little Thelma, an African hooded vulture. She may be the smallest at 4 pounds in weight with a 4-foot wingspan, but she's the oldest member of the team at 24 years of age. The story with Thelma, similar to Arthur. Originally a wild-taken vulture brought into captivity to go into a breeding project. She would join 5 other birds, making potentially 3 breeding pairs, and what a great idea. But unfortunately that little vulture there is grumpy, bad-tempered, and does not mix well in a group. A decision was made. They would have to rehome the trouble-causing vulture. It was causing too much bother. She went to a few homes before arriving with us, and on taking her out the box, we discovered there was a slight problem. The 2 toes on her right foot were bright pink and appeared to be quite badly bruised. Nobody really knew what had gone on at this point. A trip to the vet revealed in fact it was not bruising, but instead the start of frostbite. Now frostbite's serious to anything but a creature on its legs all day long. It could be life-threatening. So for the next 6 weeks, medication, cream and spray was used to try and combat this, but nothing worked. In the end, a decision was made. There would have to be an operation. They're accepting so much more there, you know. The operation would last 45 long minutes, resulting in Thelma having 2 toes chopped off. It cost £1,700. Only here do I get a bigger reaction than at home when I say that, you know. I felt terrible. Not for that, you know, you do what you do to keep animals right, you pay your money, but I felt terrible that that had happened because people had made mistakes, not being sharp enough, you know. I thought I'll put hours into this, I'll make it a little diamond. And it is, it's a brilliant little vulture. I've never taught a bird to fly in my life, they can all do it way before I get involved. I just try and encourage the bits I like, that I can bring out here and show you. The bits that display that bird doing, you know, its best it can in the areas we have. And we let go of them in some funny old places. When you sit here and look across that, if you were an eagle or a vulture, you definitely wouldn't hang about here, would you? But they are great at the job they do. So I stand nice and still and hold my hands open. In a second or two's time, our little vulture will take to the wing and she'll go for a bit of a cruise about. Not too far, we don't want to get in bother with the heavy horse people or interfere with the fairground, but we do want a nice little bit of flying. And when you get it right, they look absolutely beautiful. Look at that today, well done, enjoy that bit of breeze. Give her a lovely round of applause, she's on good form now. You're a bit quick off the mark today. When I brought her out, I stick her on a perch and I tell you how this little vulture has a beautiful white face and it changes colour in about 30 seconds. It came out of the box bright pink, it wasn't even white, it was ready to go straight into it. But look at the colour of her now. White's a universal colour in the animal world of danger. So the vulture arrives into an unknown arena, but it's not unknown now, we've been here a few days and she's pretty settled with it. Pink is a happy colour and you can see she's pretty chilled out now. Lady came to the stand this morning. Is that a vulture? I said, yes, madam, it is. Ugly, eh? I thought, pot kettle. You know who you are. They are a bit unusual looking. I won't go as far as ugly, do you know what I mean? They've got a job to do that's pretty tricky in the wild. You've got to eat horrible gooey stuff and it's not that nice. We'll send it out this time, turn her over her left shoulder. Go left, young lady, thank you. And when we bring her back into the arena, we'll land her on the floor. Watch this. Down on ground level like the vulture we had a moment or two ago. Things start to change. That hasn't struck down the arena like it owns the place. It sort of suspiciously shuffles, look. Looking over her shoulder for any minute now, a big old eagle could glide in and grab her. And they're aware of this. In the wild, they're always in big groups, and a little bit of security is quite nice, so when you kneel down, she'll get across to you real quick, look. This little wild vulture will happily feed straight out of your right hand, not a care in the world. But the minute that food has gone, she'll leave you quick in the stab rat, you can't get near it. Look at it. It's all about the belly with little Thelma. She'll do anything for a bit of grub. You try and ask her to come towards you without it, not a chance. Let's have one more, eh? I've got some eagles to fly in this display for you today, and they were absolutely spectacular yesterday, so we'll try and get a bit more out of them. Right, we need you up here, young lady. Nice and quick, no messing about. Up on this perch. A little bit of pressure now, it's your time to shine, all right? So whenever you're ready, look at her. Get the bit of food out, stop looking in the bag. The minute I take this little bit of food out of that bag, look, it's dancing around that perch. Up you get as quick as you can. What we're going to try and do if we can is this. A little bit of pressure. Try and see if Thelma's on board today. So will you please turn your bum round so you're facing me in this direction. You need to turn it right the way around. Thank you, good girl, right? I'm then going to give you 3 seconds when I say it to get up and get moving and show everyone just how impressive you can be, all right? Okay. 3 seconds starting from now. 3, 2, 1, go! Look at it. Not a care in the world. Longing to be loose, desperate to soar like a wild vulture, she takes to the wing. He couldn't care less. 63 days so far this year, it's not done that once on time yet. Doesn't really work like that, I never think it does, you know. I have quite an understanding that you can do what you want, I'll do what I want, we'll try and make it work together. So you stand nice and still, you let her do it at her own time. You get a better flight that way, usually, watch. In a moment's time, she'll fluff her feathers up, have a little shake, good girl, right? Then usually the flying you get at this moment now is quite a beautiful bit, so whenever you're ready, get up, get moving, it's your last one. Here we go, we'll send it out this time, a little bit different to the other one, we'll bring over the right shoulder, and she makes her way back, nice and low, across the arena, we'll land her on her arm, take her under control, and give her a lovely big round of applause. What a great start today, well done. Gets a bit tricky now, I've got a couple of very, very big eagles to bring out for you. Now the eagle we saw before was pretty easy to work, myself and Rebecca flying in the arena. These ones we're going to send out into the steam fair, so it might get a bit exciting. The UK has 2 types of eagle. We have the famous, beautiful golden eagle. For the last 4,000 years, golden eagle have been used as a falconry bird. This is not falconry, all right? Flying a few birds in an arena isn't falconry. Falconry is catching something with a trained bird, and golden eagle are famed for catching hare, rabbit, fox, wolf, and even deer in parts of the world. For me, that doesn't really lend itself to this type of a job. I favour the other type of eagles, the fish-eating eagles that are a bit more timid but beautiful and large in size. We're going to have a look at a white-tailed sea eagle, the other UK eagle. White-tailed sea eagle's 4th largest species of eagle in the world. The female we're going to look at in a moment's time is 14 pounds in weight with an 8-foot wingspan. Originally captive bred in Kazakhstan Zoo and brought into the UK many years ago. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But the interesting bit of information to go with this particular bird, it is the only eagle in 20 years of working with them that has successfully grabbed me around the head and face with both its feet. I said that recently and the guy in the audience said to me, "She won't have meant it, Ben, it will have been an accident." I was there, you know. Me grabbed me like I was a 14-stone fish, give me a good old shake, let go, and walked off very happy with itself. This next eagle is a horrible eagle. It doesn't like me, and I don't like it. We have a job to do, a huge breeding enclosure to finish building, a boyfriend to buy for her, and all that costs a vast sum of money. So we make our money through the summer doing displays like this, and there's a deal that's got to be cut. So I'll bring her out, give her a chance to have a nosy around. We'll then stick her on that perch in the middle just there, and we'll see what sort of mood it's in today. I'm only going to fly her to my hand when I absolutely have to. I'm not going to bring her to it every time. We'll work off the perch. The more she does, the more she can have. She has been pretty clingy the last couple of days and staying tight to the arena, which is great for you guys because you have it right over your heads. But I always like to see them range a bit further away. Not too far. About 8 years ago, my mate that was working here famously had a bald eagle go through the Ferris wheel. I want to get to that sort of a level, you know. But I do want them to try and have a good old blast around. So the more she does, the more she gets. Let's start off here and see what mood she's in today. Off we go over our marquee, round the back just there, and turn her on the wing. As she comes towards us, duck guys with your cameras. Don't lose your life for that shot, well done, and back into there. Give her a little warm-up clap, guys, get her in a good mood. You can't tell her to go further away, I can just do certain things. So if you get close by, I'll give you small bits of food. If you go further away, I'll give you big bits. It's not the sharpest eagle when it comes to working things out like that, but the penny does sometimes drop pretty quick. If we're lucky, we can get some beautiful flying out of her. If not, we'll just get loads of those circuits, and she's dead busy, so I'll have a good bit of fun with her today. Originally captive bred in Kazakhstan State Zoo, brought into the UK to join the bird display team at Warwick Castle. They're a great gang of lads, I've known them all my career, and the best eagle trainers the UK has got by a mile. But she wouldn't settle down. Medieval reenactment, trebuchet, and knights on horseback were all a bit much for our new eagle to deal with. So a decision was made. She would come to me on a 6-week trial. If we got on with each other, I'd have the option to buy her at the end of it. For 6 weeks, this eagle never put a wing, foot or beak out of place. I thought, I love the thing, I'm having this. I wrote the cheque, I put the cheque in the post, and 3 days later it grabbed my head. As if to say, this is what you really bought, you know. Looking back now, it wasn't a great time, but when you look a bit closer at it, you need them type of birds. The slightly timider ones, the bald eagle we saw earlier on. If he goes out of sight, he sits down and waits for you. You don't want that. You want the ones that aren't bothered, that'll have a go at you, that'll hold their own and give it what for. And she is spectacular at her job. Here we go, different direction. See how this one works out today for us. Slight twist on the breeze today. We'll swing it on the back of the sheep shot. It'll be a bit low and slow as it crosses over your heads in that area there, but beautiful to see nevertheless. Look at that. Well done. This is the UK species, you know. People ask me on the stand, what is that bird? No one has any idea, because they haven't got the fame or pedigree behind them. The golden eagles have got, people know all about them. White-tailed sea eagles have been in this country for many years, but in 1970 the last true wild one was unfortunately shot. A project was set about where youngsters were brought into the UK from Norway, reared and released on the Western Isles, and now we're seeing the fantastic results of a very hard bit of work. 50 to 60 breeding pair of white-tailed sea eagle are now found on that Western Isle to the north and northeast of Scotland. And it's great to think they're back to where they once were and doing remarkably well. Now it's red hot today, it's dead still, and we've got a great big eagle trying to do its best to have a fly about. The vultures love this type of weather, but they get warm pretty quick. I use her in 2 displays so she gets plenty of work each day, but I've got to be careful I don't overdo it when I'm flying her. You don't want to get it upset with a job or, you know, grizzly with me. So maybe 1, 2 more, we'll see how things go. We're trying every different angle we can try and get this thing up in the air and move. Duck on the avenue just there. The people just arriving now, scared to death. On the return flight, a duck again, madam, well done. Look at that. Give her a round of applause, well done. I'll give one more go, eh? See what happens. This last one I've got to land on my arm, it's not the easiest bit. Landing an eagle this size on your arm with no breeze can be alright, but if you get it wrong, it can be a whole messy thing. You've got to try and get her back in that box after they're moving that tracking gear, and I will get a bite today. He never usually lets me down at that one at this point. I call her Roxy. I call her Roxy after the horrible girl I went to secondary school with who I didn't like very much. I kept out of her way my brief education and got through each day, and I keep out of her way until this point right now. I've got to get involved and get her back on my arm. Not really sure how best to do this, but I think that seems to be working. There was a little bit of straw come out of the sky a minute ago, that's dropping down from a thermal that rose earlier in the day, but the little bit of breeze we've got is moving them flags in that area there. So we'll see if she'll let me turn around. Off we go. As she goes right now, guys, I've got to sort of set myself up to get this eagle back in under control. It's a nice flight, is this one, look at that. Coming right in now between my marquee and the sheep trailer, duck and dive in that area, guys. Look at that for a bit of flying. Well, land her just there while she's busy eating. Give her a clap, that's perfect today, well done. This is a bit I don't like, watch. Got to sort of get her back in this box now and do it in one manoeuvre without a problem. You sort of flick the door open, roll her in and shut the door like that. Well done, okay. One more, eh? When I was 8 years old, I opened a book, and in the middle of that book was a picture of a Steller's sea eagle. The biggest eagle in the world, it said. And to me, it looked like the sort of thing you could train and go and catch a bear with. I thought, oh, look at that. Imagine me at 8, I was pretty feral, you know. Never thought I'd ever see a Steller's sea eagle, let alone get a chance to own one. Then a few years ago, a guy in Estonia had a male for sale. This surplus male of breeding age was a fantastic looking creature, but a huge sum of money. I blew my entire savings, a house deposit I was saving up for, sold a Land Rover and borrowed some money to buy this bird and bring him into the UK. And when he arrived in this massive wooden crate, I just couldn't believe it. I got it open, got him out, and he was just horrendous. For 16 weeks it battled, fought, kicked and spat and did everything it could not to be involved with me. Tried everything, you know, and I couldn't get through to him. He just wouldn't eat with me, he'd only eat on his perch, he would bait, jump around, and I hate all that. You've got to have things in a good place in the head. The first year I managed to get him trained, but I lost him 18 times. On one afternoon, he sat on the town hall of Thirsk where I used to live for over 7 hours. Postman went past. That yours? Said I, yeah. He tried calling it. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll try. Yeah, 6 hours ago, you know. You can't do. You could drag a dead cow out and it wouldn't come down. It didn't want to come down. Last year I chucked it off here and I mistimed it. It went wrong and it just went for a trek about. It was out 30 minutes. It was in the heavy horse arena, down at the main arena, all over the place. A last-ditch effort to get him on track. I thought, I'll buy him a girlfriend. Even if it don't work out and he doesn't bond to her, you know. I've got 2 nice big eagles in the future. We should hopefully get a pair put together. It might give him a reason to hang about near me a bit more. When I bought this female, I'm going to show you her this morning. I'll show you the pair in the afternoon show. I bought her at 8 months, not a bird of 5-year-old, nearly at breeding condition. At 8 months old, that's an eagle you can really work with. An eagle that will hopefully learn the deal and get really involved with the whole side of shows. So we'll jump her out, give her a little bit of grub there, and we'll tell you a bit about her in a moment's time. Stop being nibbly, you. Look at the size of that thing, eh? It's a bit of a unit, this. 18 pound with a 9.5 foot wingspan. It's the largest skull, skeleton and wing of any eagle in the world. And we'll stick it on there and see what mood it's in today. Generally what I look for is this. I want a wiggle of the tail. You see, I fly my birds 7 days a week for 8 months of the year. We then have 3 months off from flying and 1 month to gently get back into the routine again. The reason I do that is we're pretty sick of each other. We do about 80 or 90 events a year, we're on the road an awful lot, I fly every day, it just gets a bit, you know, it's nice for the gap and the breather. But when I watch them each day, I see certain things happen. And I think, you do that before you take off. You like to do that before you do that. And I start to put a bit of a jigsaw piece together. A wiggle of the tail is her taking it all in. She hasn't done it yet today, she's just having a bit of a nosy around and looking at what's going on. Before she really does anything worthwhile watching though, she needs to go to the loo. Don't know why this is, it's a little quirk she's got. So we're waiting now for the biggest eagle in the world to go to the loo. Don't worry, you can usually set your watch by it. In about the next 10 to 15 seconds time, if it's going to happen, she'll lift that tail up, go to the loo, and with a bit of luck, we can ask to get up and fly. So you just got to be patient right now, guys. We've not got a lot of breeze today, we've got to try and get everything absolutely perfect, so hang on a minute. Oh, we're gonna go? Blooming heck, right, get out of the way quick. Duck, son. Well done. Off we go. Bursting into action without going to the loo. No wiggle of the tail. She's just going for it. As she comes back towards us now to get herself back in the arena, she will drop her legs, wiggle her bum, and land beautifully well. Well done. Things change, you know. You think, oh, it'll do that, it'll do that. She always does that, she always does that. But I guess in the background, she's not got like an exploding tractor, you know. Big Pete jumping a monster truck in the air, a team of heavy horses, like, what is this, you know? So things do change slightly. I don't mind. I like it to have, you know, a different day now and again. Designed for Eastern Russia, this massive, great big creature lives on the coastline. It will move down to Japan, but Eastern Russia is where you'll generally find them for most of the year. They're a fish-catching eagle. They don't catch and carry off bears as I once imagined. They are big in size, not because they're catching large, huge fish, because they've got to pile on vast amounts of body fat to survive through winter. To get through a winter where temperatures can go to minus 50 and 60 and winds of 70 and 80 mile an hour blow, you've got to have that layer of protection around your body. You may have to sit still for hours and hours and days and even weeks before food presents itself. And you've got to rely on those fat reserves to do that. So as she takes off, in a moment's time, keep watching. I say get out of the way. I'm not joking, you know, because it's just that big, it can't get past you. It will trail its feet over your head as it goes along, and I always like the dads with the kids on the shoulders. The kid looks, hang on. The kid looks petrified and dad's going, oh yeah, that's right, you know, it's a massive thing coming towards you. Here we go again then, slightly different to before. We'll try and use all the arena we've got today if we can, and send it out in a different direction. Look guys, well done. Out through the back, round the corner just there. Bit more space to work in there. Look at that for a view, eh? As she comes back in now, then watch this. It's only slow flying, but it's beautiful. The legs are down straight away. What a great bit of fun today. Well, then give her a lovely round of applause. I call her Camilla. Best name for a big posh bird, we thought. Yeah, beautiful thing, isn't it? The male took 16 weeks of work before he eventually gave in and he ate a piece of food. 16 weeks of handling, interacting, talking, the whole job. 16 weeks. On day 14 of working with that bird, it was flying totally free. I've never in 20 years had an eagle that just wants to do the job like this. I fly the two together. Quite often when he's messing about and I've lost him and I can't get him in, I let her off. And she'll chase him over the sky and tire him out, then land, then usually you can get the pair back. We'll go for one more with them today. We'll use her later on. So this one right now, give her a great round of applause, guys, as she takes off. Let her know it's the last one. But saying they're a bit further than before, I'll get yourself set up to try and get this eagle back in again. As she comes back in again now, I'll try and land it on my arm, see if we can get this one right today. That little clap lets you know it's the last one. Fingers crossed it goes well, you big heavy thing, good girl. Big when you see it there, isn't it, you know? What, 6 foot me, and even with that, it's just dribbled all down my left cheek, you know? Even with that sat next to me, you're a big thing, I can see you, alright. Try and get her in this box if we can do. To do this, just like the whitetail sea, you can go like that, and like that. Wonderful stuff. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gents. An absolute pleasure working and flying up for you. Have a great afternoon and enjoy yourselves. Thank you.